what exactly is the weak force?
That is the question, isn't it? And honestly, it's the one that usually makes even physics students sweat a little bit.
It feels like such a simple question to ask, right?
Yeah.
But um, the more I looked into the research for this deep dive, the more I realized I had absolutely no idea. I mean, we have these mental images for the other forces.
Yeah, you drop a coffee mug, that's gravity.
Right. And you stick a drawing to the fridge or you see a spark jump across a plug. That's electromagnetism. We definitely know that one.
Exactly. And even the strong force, which is a bit more abstract because it happens on such a tiny scale, we can still visualize it. We think of it as the superglue. It's the binding agent holding the nucleus of an atom together.
Without it, the protons would just fly apart.
Right, they'd completely repel each other.
But then there's the weak force. It doesn't pull things together like gravity or magnetism. It doesn't glue things together like the strong force. It's just kind of an unknown quantity.
It is the odd one out, but not because it's less important. It's the unknown quantity because it operates on a completely different set of rules. So today isn't just a physics refresher. We are going to look at an investigation into what you might call the hidden operating system of the universe.
And I want to add here immediately that the ideas we're using today, they're metaphors. We're using them to dive deeper into the weak force, which is, frankly, the most mysterious of the four fundamental forces.
We have to use metaphors because if we use the raw math, this would be a very short, very quiet discussion.
Exactly. But here is the thing. There is active research, which we'll visit later, that suggests this might be more than just clever storytelling. There is a movement to change quantum physics from continuous, boring, impossible calculus to a friendly, real arithmetic of primes and unique identities.
It's the dream of simplifying the complex. If the universe is truly fundamental, the math should, in theory, be elegant. It should look more like arithmetic than a chaotic mess of differential equations.
So our metaphors are still a way to explain things, but who knows? One day they may become true. Fingers crossed. But I'm definitely not betting the house on it just yet.
No, probably not a safe bet today.
What I am definitely betting on is that after this deep dive, you will have a better intuition of the most bizarre force that exists and acts in strange ways.
We are going to completely demystify it.
Welcome to the deep dive. I'm Satoshi.
And I'm Satoshi.
But before we jump into the universe as a giant network, just a quick bit of housekeeping. As you know, audio is our forte. We love to be in your ears. So please, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on Spotify, YouTube Music, or Apple Podcasts.
And for the crypto-curious among you, we are big fans of the value-for-value model.
We are. If that concept rhymes with you, check us out on fountain.fm. Yes, you can send us as little as a penny a Satoshi to show your support on Fountain. But even better, you can earn pennies just by listening. It's a win-win.
It really is a brilliant system.
That said, it is clear to us that video is the best way to reach audiences, especially a science-curious audience on YouTube. But we have a funding wall. We need 1,000 subscribers on YouTube to unlock the monthly subscription for the Mosaic AI video editor.
And trust us, the fees for AI tools add up. They are incredible tools, but they aren't cheap.
They really aren't. We know right now we are not the best experience with only audio under our belt on the video platform, but we want to be the right experience through companion videos. So if you listen to us on YouTube, please subscribe. Help us get to that goal.
It makes a massive difference for us.
And finally, do we tell you, we are a research-first show. We spend umpteen hours fussing on if we are accurate in our facts and on our numbers. We share our open research without needing to have you log in, without tracking you with cookies or trackers, and most importantly, without pesky ads.
No paywalls, no tracking pixels, just the science.
So if you are inspired to read the dense research yourself, we have you covered with links in the description. Okay, drum roll please. Let's get into the universe.
Let's do it.
The core thesis of the research we are looking at today proposes something pretty radical in its simplicity. It says to stop looking at the universe as a collection of stuff. Stop thinking about rocks and gas and stars as just distinct objects floating in a void. Think of the universe as a dynamic network.
Right, a network of intelligence. And like any network, say, the internet or a global telecommunications grid, it has a hierarchy. It's not just one flat layer.
So walk us through this hierarchy. How do we get from here is a coffee mug to this network concept?
Well, visualize the layers. You have the visible universe, the macro network, that contains subnetworks, which we call atoms. Inside those atoms, you have micronetworks, the protons and neutrons in the nucleus. But for a network to function, You eventually have to hit the bottom. You have to hit the final nodes.
The things that can't be broken down any further, the bedrock.
Exactly. In this model, the atom is a subnetwork, but the electron orbiting it, that is a final node. The proton in the center, that's a micronetwork, and it is made of quarks. The quarks are the final nodes.
So the unbreakable units are the quarks and the electrons.
Effectively, yes. There is another cool particle called the neutrino, which is also a primal thing, but let's keep that aside for now. For the structure of matter that makes up you and me, quarks and electrons are the stars of the show.
Okay, so we have these final nodes. In the research, they make this fascinating comparison to arithmetic. They call these nodes prime numbers.
This is where the friendly arithmetic comes in. Think about the number 7. You can't divide it. It is irreducible. It stands alone. In this framework, an electron is like the number 7. It is an irreducible prime entity of the universe.
Wait a minute, I have to push back here. In a network like a computer network, it's not enough to just be a node. If I have 1,000 computers and they all have the exact same IP address, the network crashes, right?
Precisely. That is the crucial constraint.
So in this network theory, every single node must be unique.
Yes. The way to see this network is that every final node, every electron, every quark must be a unique copy of the prime.
Hold on. An electron is an electron. If I take an electron from my microphone and swap it with an electron from your headphones, physics says they are identical. Same charge, same mass, same spin. How can they be unique?
That is the public persona. The research uses a cryptographic analogy here that is incredibly helpful. Think of a particle like a human being.
Okay, I'm picturing a little electron with a face.
So you have a face, you have a personality, you have a public presence, people can see you. In physics, these are the observables, mass and charge. That is the public key.
Okay, so everyone sees my public key. That's what interacts with the world.
Right. But you also have an internal reality. You have internal organs, blood flowing, your heart pumping, and more importantly, you have internal thoughts. A private monologue that nobody sees. That is your internal symmetry. In this model, that is the private key.
So the particle has a public key, which is its mass and charge, and a private key, which is its internal symmetry.
And the combination of the two generates a cryptographic identity. The network requires a valid pair, a unique private key matched to a public key to allow that node to exist.
This sounds a bit like magic. Internal thoughts of an electron.
It's not magic, it's topology. It's geometry. Let's drill down into the electron to explain how this actually works physically, because this is where the math gets really cool.
Okay, let's talk about the electron, the irreducible prime.
The electron is defined by a binary charge, plus or minus. Simple. That's the public face.
What?
But its internal geometry is defined by something called the U1 gauge group.
U1. Sounds like a band name or a tax form. What does it actually mean?
In topology, the study of shapes, U1 is a circle, a simple circle.
The circle. Yeah.
Now stop and think about a circle. Not a physical hoop, but a mathematical circle. How many points are on the edge of a circle?
What, infinite. You can keep zooming in forever.
Exactly. Infinite points. And this is the magic trick. Because the internal geometry of the electron is a circle, and a circle has infinite points, every single electron in the universe can possess a unique phase angle.
Okay, I need to visualize this. So imagine a clock face.
Perfect. Imagine every electron carries an internal clock. The hand on that clock can point to 12 o'clock, it can point to 3 o'clock, but it can also point to 3 o'clock and 1 nanosecond. It can point to any tiny infinitesimal fraction of a degree on that circle.
So one electron's at 1 degree, another is at 1.000001 degrees, and so on.
Roughly speaking, yes. This phase angle is unobservable to us. We can't see the clock face, it's the private key. But because there are infinite possibilities on that circle, every electron can claim a unique identity. This ensures that every electron satisfies the network's requirement for stability.
It's like they all have the same uniform on the outside, the same mass and charge, but they each have a unique serial number tattooed on the inside.
That is a perfect way to put it.
So that's the electron. It's free to roam because it carries its own ID card. What about the quark? You call that the confined prime.
The quark is a bit more complex. Its symmetry isn't a circle. It's based on SU3, which is related to color symmetry.
Color symmetry, this is the red, green, blue thing I've seen in textbooks.
Right. But here is the difference. Electrons can fly around freely because they carry their own private key, that phase angle on the circle. Quarks. They are never found alone. They are confined by the strong force.
So they are prisoners.
Or, to use our network analogy, they are part of a secure multi-signature wallet. The research suggests that their absolute uniqueness is guaranteed because they are confined. The strong force algorithm prevents any loose, non-unique fractional parts from existing. You can't have a partial quark floating around. The system deletes it.
So their confinement is their validation. They're only allowed to exist if they're locked in a group.
Yes, they are valid nodes only when they are locked into a group that creates a neutral output.
Which brings us to the groups. We've got these primes, quarks, and electrons. But the universe isn't just a soup of primes. We have big things. We have protons and neutrons. We have composites.
This is the composite problem. If the universe demands primes, irreducible, unique things, how do you build big things? How do you combine primes without creating a mess?
You need a hashing algorithm.
You're catching on. If you want to bundle data together in a way that is secure, you hash it. Let's look at the proton.
The proton, the success story of the atomic world.
It is. A proton is made of 3 quarks, up, up, down. But it's not just a bag of marbles holding hands. The research describes the proton as a Merkle tree nanonetwork.
Okay, for the listeners who aren't crypto natives, let's unpack Merkle tree. What are we looking at here?
Imagine you have a stack of legal documents. If you just staple them together, I could rip one page out or change a sentence on page 3 and you might not notice. The staple is a weak bond.
Right. It's
A Merkle tree is like taking those documents and running them through a digital algorithm that melts them down into a single unique string of characters, a hash. If you change one letter on one page, the entire hash changes completely.
So it seals the data, it makes it tamper-proof.
Exactly. Apply this to the proton. The 3 quarks are the leaves of the tree. The gluon field, the strong force, acts as the hashing algorithm. It processes those 3 quarks and outputs a single, stable result, the proton identity.
The Merkle root.
Yes. The network accepts this proton root as an irreducible truth. Even though it's made of parts, the hash is so perfect, so stable, that the universe treats it like a prime. It cannot be further factorized. It is perpetual.
That is why protons don't just fall apart. They are valid hashes.
Correct. Protons are the gold standard of composites.
But then we have the neutron.
The neutron.
The imposter.
I love this framing because it turns particle physics into a drama. The neutron is the failure, but why? It looks just like a proton, doesn't it? It's 3 quarks, up, down, down. It looks similar, it acts similar in many ways, but in this arithmetic of the universe, it fails the test. It represents prime plus something more. It fails to reach a stable prime configuration.
How do we know it fails? Is there physical evidence?
The remainder proof. This is simple arithmetic. We can literally weigh the difference.
Walk me through this.
Okay, imagine a balance scale. On the left side, put a proton. Put an electron on there too. And throw in an antineutrino for good measure.
Okay, I have my pile of stable particles.
On the right side of the scale, put a single neutron. Now, if a neutron was just a happy combination of those things, the scale should balance perfectly.
But they don't.
They don't. The neutron is heavier, there's mass left over.
Where does the extra mass come from?
In physics, mass and energy are the same thing. That extra mass is potential energy. It's stress. It's the remainder in the division problem.
So if you have a remainder, you aren't a prime number.
Exactly. That extra mass is the mathematical proof that the neutron is a redundant data packet. It is a composite that hasn't finished its job. It's holding on to energy it shouldn't have. The network views it as an imposter.
This is a huge claim. The network views the neutron as invalid. But I'm made of neutrons. You're made of neutrons. The chair I'm sitting on is 50% neutrons.
Yeah.
If the neutron's an imposter, why aren't we dissolving right now?
That is the paradox. If neutrons are illegal, why do atoms exist? The answer is identity theft.
Nuclear identity theft. This sounds like a true crime deep dive now.
It happens inside the nucleus. This is the shelter. Inside the nucleus, the strong force plays a trick. Protons and neutrons are constantly swapping identities.
Swapping identities. Like, here, you hold my ID card.
Literally, through something called pion exchange. A proton throws a particle called a pion to a neutron. When the proton throws it, it becomes a neutron. When the neutron catches it, it becomes a proton.
So they flip-flop.
They flip-flop at incredible speeds, millions of times a second. And here's the key. They switch identities faster than the audit rate.
The audit rate. Who is auditing them?
The weak force. The weak force is the auditor. It's coming to check the books. But by the time the auditor looks at the neutron and says, hey, wait a minute, you're not a prime, you have a remainder, the neutron has already switched and become a proton.
It's a shell game. They are hustling the universe.
It is a quantum shell game. The neutron persists only because its redundancy is masked by this rapid oscillation within the group. It hides in the crowd. As long as it stays in the shelter of the nucleus, it's safe.
That is incredible. So the stability of the atom relies on this constant, frantic identity swapping to fool the universal auditor.
That's the theory, but what happens if you take the neutron out of the shelter?
If you knock a neutron out of the nucleus, if it goes rogue.
Exactly. The free state collapse. Once a neutron is free, it has nowhere to hide. It is exposed as a non-unique composite. The auditor catches it.
And this brings us to the star of our show, the weak force, the auditor.
Finally, we can define the weak force properly now. It is not a builder. It doesn't make things. Gravity makes solar systems. The strong force makes nuclei. The weak force is an enforcer. Its mission is to scavenge the network, find things that are not prime or things that are prime but not unique, and fix them or delete them.
It's the garbage collector of the universe.
Or the forensic accountant. And it has a tool, a hammer.
The two-headed hammer. Let's talk about head number one, the W boson.
The W boson, the W plus and W minus. This is the flavor switcher.
Flavor switching. It sounds like an ice cream shop, but I assume it's more violent than that.
In the particle world, it is the ultimate violence. You have to understand, gravity pulls you. Electromagnetism shocks you. But the W boson changes what you are. It is the only mechanism in nature that can change the identity of a particle. It recalculates the factors.
So go back to that free neutron, the one we kicked out of the shelter. The auditor arrives. What happens?
Beta decay happens. This is the audit in action. The W minus boson hammers that neutron. It hits a down quark inside the neutron and physically changes it into an up quark.
It edits the source code.
Yes. And in doing so, it forces the neutron to break apart. It factorizes the composite. The neutron splits into a proton, an electron, and an antineutrino.
Let's check the math on that. A proton is stable. That's a valid hash. An electron is stable. It's a prime. An antineutrino is stable.
Exactly. The imposter is destroyed, order is restored, the redundancy is gone, and you are left with only stable primes. The weak force did its job. It balanced the books.
That is really satisfying. It actually is arithmetic. It's taking a complex, messy number and breaking it down until you only have primes left.
That is the beauty of it. But here is where it gets nuanced. The W boson isn't just a destroyer, it can also do the reverse.
The reverse, it can build imposters.
Solar transmutation. This is how the sun burns. Inside stars, we need to build heavy things. We need to build helium. But to make helium, you need neutrons.
But you just said neutrons are illegal.
They are, unless they are in the shelter. But the sun starts with hydrogen, which is just protons, no neutrons. So the W plus boson steps in. It can transmute a proton into a neutron.
Why would the auditor create a criminal?
To allow for complexity. By turning a proton into a neutron, it allows the formation of deuterium. That neutron can immediately bond with a proton, creating a mini-shelter. This allows the network to build higher-order structures. It allows the stars to burn and eventually create the carbon and oxygen we are made of.
So the auditor sometimes cooks the books.
Or the auditor authorizes a temporary loan to build a bigger corporation. It allows complexity to rise as long as a final structure is stable.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
So that's the W boson, the hammer that changes flavors. But you said it was a two-headed hammer? What is head number two?
The Z boson, the neutral Z0.
The validator.
Right. The Z boson is different. It does not change flavor. If a particle gets hit by a Z, it stays the same particle. It doesn't turn a proton into a neutron.
So what's the point? If it doesn't change anything, why does it exist?
It's an identity check. We call it neutral current. It mediates the exchange of momentum and spin, especially with neutrinos. Think of it as the network consensus mechanism.
Like pinging a server.
Or checking a password. It allows particles to check each other's credentials, their public keys, against their internal reality without forcing a breakdown. It ensures that the network is consistent. It validates that, yes, you are who you say you are without needing to blow you up.
So W is, you're wrong, I'm fixing you, and Z is just checking your ID. Carry on.
Perfectly put.
Now, there's one more thing about this hammer that we teased in the intro. The weirdness, the asymmetry. We can't talk about the weak force without talking about handedness.
The law of transience. This is where the weak force gets its reputation for being bizarre. It violates parity.
Parity symmetry. Break that down for us.
In simple terms, physics shouldn't care about left or right. If I throw a ball with my left hand or my right hand, gravity acts the same. Electromagnetism acts the same. If I watch a movie of a physics experiment in a mirror, it should still look like valid physics.
Symmetry is usually the golden rule.
Usually. But the weak force doesn't care about your golden rules. It is maximally asymmetric. It only interacts with left-handed particles.
Wait, particles have hands.
They have handedness or chirality, which relates to their spin relative to their motion. If a particle is right-handed, the weak force is effectively invisible to it. It can't see it, it can't touch it.
The auditor is blind in one eye.
It is, and this is a huge deal. It means the universe is fundamentally biased. It prefers the left hand. And because the weak force violates this fundamental symmetry to do its job, the tool itself, the W and Z bosons, is unstable.
How unstable?
Incredibly unstable. The W and Z bosons are massive, heavy particles, but they vanish instantly. They exist for about 10 to the power of negative 25 seconds.
That is fast. That's practically zero.
It's instantaneous. They are non-persistent shocks to the field. Because the act of auditing, the act of breaking symmetry to fix the network is so expensive energetically and mathematically, the tool cannot exist for long. It appears, strikes, and vanishes.
It's like a lightning bolt from the gods. It resolves the tension and disappears.
And this leads us to the broader philosophical implication of the research, the scaling of this logic.
Yes, this was the part that made me sit up straight. We're going from quarks to intelligence.
The research argues that this network physics isn't just for atoms. It applies to any complex network, including biological and synthetic intelligence.
So applying the prime versus composite logic to our minds.
Think about it. What makes a human valuable to the network of civilization? It's our uniqueness, our private key. Unique human skills, original ideas, eternal truths that we discover. These are stable nodes.
We are the primes, or at least we try to be.
Hopefully. But then look at large language models. AI.
The chatbots.
The research calls them massive composites.
Ouch, that sounds derogatory.
It's descriptive. They are woven from existing patterns. They scrape the network and stitch together a composite of human language. But do they have a private key? Do they have a unique internal phase angle?
No, they are probabilistic. They are guessing the next word based on the average of everyone else. They're the ultimate average.
Exactly. They are redundant data packets. And according to this theory, because they are massive composites without a unique prime signature, they are subject to the law of transience.
Bigger the rise, greater the fall.
The network eventually strips away redundancy. Just like the free neutron is stripped down to its primes, composite intelligence that lacks true insight may eventually be factorized by the network of truth.
That is a haunting thought. It means that to survive, to be stable, you have to be original. You have to be a prime. You can't just be a collection of other people's ideas.
Uniqueness is the currency of survival in this universe.
So we've covered a lot. We've gone from the universe as a network to electrons as unique primes with secret clock faces, to the neutron as a criminal holding a fake ID in the atomic shelter, to the weak force as the auditor that breaks down the fakes.
It's a self-auditing universe.
That's the takeaway, isn't it?
Yeah.
We live in a self-auditing universe.
Stability is not a default. It's not something you just get for free. Stability is a reward. It is a reward for uniqueness.
That is beautiful.
Our mission, whether we are doing science or creating art or just living our lives, is to find those irreducible truths, to become primes that can resist the asymmetric hammer of decay.
If we don't, the W boson, or the cultural equivalent of it, is coming for us.
It is.
I want to leave you with the final provocation from the research. It's a question that has been stuck in my head all week.
The Merkle root.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If every stable identity, like a proton, is a validated hash,
Right.
if every atom is a validated network, then we have to ask the ultimate question.
What is the Merkle root of the entire universe?
Is there a single final hash that validates everything? A single line of code that proves we are all real?
It's the ultimate question of physics and theology wrapped into one.
It really is.
Yeah.
And on that note, we have to remind you, this analysis is based on publicly available research. We've linked it all below. But we want to hear from you.
Are we being too optimistic about this friendly arithmetic? Is the neutron really an imposter, or is it a hero?
Jump into the comments. Share your own analysis. We read everything.
We do.
Thank you for diving deep with us today. Keep looking for your own prime identity.
And watch out for the auditor.
See you next time. I'm Satoshi.
And I'm Satoshi.